hold up. I'm gonna turn my volume down. Am I in game chat? Tell me I'm in game chat. Yep. Okay, hold that. Haha, I don't got a basement. I don't know why I just said that, bro.
When my grandparents passed away, instead of my parents selling our house, they just let me live in it instead since I was moving away. I just had to pay the taxes and monthly expenses.
Bro, that sucks.
At first, I really enjoyed living alone,
Yeah,
given that I could have whoever I wanted to whenever I wanted. But it quickly got lonely being alone, so I got myself a 2-year-old German Shepherd dog named Rocky. He was named after Rocky Balboa. Rocky's a very calm and gentle German Shepherd. He hardly ever barks, only when he feels threatened or if he's playing with another dog. I bought him a doggy bed the day after I adopted him and put it next to my bed. After I got Rocky, I always left the bedroom door open so that he could go get water at night if he were thirsty.
Thirsty.
One night soon after I adopted Rocky, I woke up to his barking coming from outside my room and down the hallway. I dizzily got out of bed to check what the hell he was barking at. I rubbed my eyes as I walked down the hallway, and when I opened them, I saw Rocky maniacally barking and clawing at the basement door. I didn't know what to do. Usually I'd call my dad to deal with something like this, but now it was on me. I was terrified. I had to ask myself if I wanted Rocky to get down there with me, and I quickly realized there was no chance of me going down there alone. I opened the door ever so lightly, but it was enough for Rocky to push it open with his nose and run down the stairs. I flipped on the lights and followed close behind. Rocky was silent now, which I found a bit concerning. I looked around for him, calling his name, and then I saw him standing still, with his tail between his legs, looking up at something in an opposite corner of the room that was blocked by a wall. Rocky looked at me, and his tail slightly raised as I approached him. I could now see what he was looking at. It was a closet door. Rocky's apparent bout of confidence was obviously short-lived, and he seemed to be back to his calm and timid self. All that was passing through my mind at that moment was, do I dare open this closet door right now? And who or what could be in there? I didn't know Rocky too well just yet, but I had a feeling he wouldn't attack whoever or whatever was in there. I'm still not sure whether I made the right move or not, but instead of opening that closet door, I took Rocky by the collar and walked with him back upstairs. He kept looking back at the corner of the basement until we got to the stairs. I shut the basement door and then dragged him back to my bedroom and shut the bedroom door. Then I went to the kitchen to call my dad. I had to call 3 times before he finally picked up in a groggy voice. I explained the situation and asked him what I should do. He said I should go back down there with a huge knife or some kind of weapon and see what's in the closet. I told him I was too scared to, and somewhere deeper into that conversation with my dad, I realized the basement door was open. I put the phone down for a second to listen to what I thought were footsteps, and I was right. Loud and clear were footsteps heading towards the front door. I ran to my bedroom and told my dad. He told me to hang up the phone and call the cops, and so I did. By the time the cops showed up, though, whoever was in the house was obviously gone already. Unfortunately, I left a large amount of cash down there by the bar. All of it was gone. The basement window was wide open, so we found the method of entry pretty quickly. Just turned out to be a break-in burglary when I happened to be home. This story took place just 2 weeks ago. I've always had a fear of basements since I was a kid. Now that I'm 18, my fear is obviously subdued a little bit, but I still will glance over my shoulder to any noise I may hear behind me. And I might get that slight butterfly in my stomach feeling when I'm alone.
Exactly, my guy.
Well, on this cold Friday
That's why I keep that door shut.
And since our biggest TV is in the basement, that's where I usually chill. Especially to play video games. Fortnite with my friends, some crazy popular first-person shooter game. I had headphones in and I was really invested in the game.
Do be streaming though.
Loud sound effects through the headphones. I knew I heard something come from behind me, like a thump. I took off off the headphones and examined the back of the basement. Now our basement is huge, but also extremely cluttered and messy.
I can't take $36 out of my bank account. That sucks,
I'd have to
bro.
get up, that's how bad it is. But I didn't feel that were necessary. Yeah, I found it a bit unsettling anytime I...
Bro, go away. I don't know why I put the blue shades in now.
I tried to continue playing. However, I wasn't able to focus anymore. That was part of me constantly thinking about the noise.
I guess I'll
I took off the headphones and played with them off just because I was feeling extra paranoid and wanted to hear my surroundings. Shortly after taking off the headset, there was a sudden clank sound, and it had a metallic, echoey ringing to it. I turned off the system now because I was in shock. This was an intentional sound made by someone or something. I walked really slowly to the backside of the basement.
I deleted it, but
I laid
yeah.
eyes on the big metal air vent in the corner. That's when it hit me.
Because I didn't play it and I needed more storage space.
I got as close as I felt comfortable, then stopped and just looked at the air vent for a second.
Oh, I got
terrible,
cold dicks.
painful feeling in my stomach.
Yeah, don't open that, bro.
Life was literally being drained out of me when I saw a hand reach out from the air vent and start waving me over. Then a deep, raspy voice said, "Come here, I need help."
Bruh.
First, I didn't run. I just gradually stepped backwards with my mouth hung open, looking at the vent. The person's hands gripped the vent and started shaking it aggressively, obviously trying to break it open. I screamed, "I'm calling the cops," but the shaking didn't stop.
You should have been fucking
I
calling the
called the
cops,
cops
bro.
and told them to send someone right away. The operator told me to go to a room upstairs with a weapon, lock the door, and hide.
But
I was the most scared I'd ever been in my entire life. And the pain and
I don't know, something to keep me entertained because
when I heard it
I'm spawned outside the damn entire body of my fucking.
I'm not lying when I said he was screaming things like, "Where are you? I'm gonna kill you." I heard him run up the stairs. He probably ran up 2 stairs for every step, because he was up the stairs in like 3 seconds.
Where am I? What
My
the?
heart was in my throat when he tried the door.
How am I on Mount Chiliad?
Pounding on it so
I'm
hard, I
scared.
could see the door caving in a little bit. I thought he was actually gonna break the door down. I had to climb out the window or I'd be a goner. I think he heard me though, because the banging stopped. I jumped from the window to the bushes below, and with the right stroke of luck, a cop car pulled up in front of my house. I basically ran into the officer's arms, begging them to go inside and get the man. They told me to wait in the police car which they locked, while they both went inside the house with their guns drawn. Not even 5 minutes later, the 2 officers came out, and they were holding the man in cuffs. The man in cuffs took my place in the backseat of the cop car, and from that moment, until the cops drove away, he was giving me the most evil, hate-filled stare you could ever imagine. That stare still haunts me. The whole experience still haunts me. I still hang out in the basement occasionally, but nowhere near as much.
Bro, bring that big ass TV to your room, then, dummy.
The story I'm about to tell you is a series of blurry memories from when I was a little kid. We were living in our old house.
Oh, the last one.
My brother and I always
The thing is, you don't have Nuketown, bro. You don't got Nuketown. I don't want to talk about Call of Duty.
We usually played on his Super Nintendo system, but at some point, I don't remember when it started, my brother and I would hear things come from the boiler/laundry room. The first time this happened...
Fine, the first one. Damn, you asked me to pick one, bro.
That was when we both heard it. The door to the dryer slammed shut. We knew
Why Lester be inviting me?
We both called
Bro, Lester, I don't have money.
in there the whole time without us realizing. But the room was dark and empty of any people. When we
I'm booking it up Mount Chiliad.
Screaming for our parents, leaving everything downstairs still on. Our parents came down to humor what they probably thought was just our dumb childish antics, and nobody was in the laundry room. Moving along probably a few months, I was awake late one night for whatever reason, walking to the kitchen, passing the basement door, and remember hearing the TV downstairs turn on. It was one of those big old box TVs, so it made that distinct clicking sound as it turned on.
Yeah, bro, I remember
I called
those
Mom,
keys.
Dad, and my brother's name. No one answered. I went to my parents' room to tell them, and and they were both upset with me for waking them. My dad went downstairs to turn off the TV, and I remember him telling me it's a glitchy TV. There were a couple other suspicious happenings after that, but I'll move forward all the way to the last occurrence, and honestly the most horrific. It was a few days before we were going to move to our new house. Just about everything in the house was already shipped to the new
I honestly want to get Call of Duty, but I want the one that has Nuketown in it. But I forgot what it's called.
My brother and I were once again playing video games. That's when I felt something hit me in the
Nah,
back of the
Nuketown,
head.
bro.
I thought it was my brother at first.
The OG
Then
spot,
saw the red
bro.
ball bouncing on the ground behind the couch we were on. Then the door to the boiler room slowly shut as my brother and I looked at each other with horrified looks on our faces. Once again, we ran upstairs screaming. Our parents once again went downstairs, but when they came back up, they were strangely silent. They told us to go to our rooms and wait there. A while later, a police car showed up, but our parents wouldn't let us out of our rooms. They wouldn't tell us what happened until we finally moved. Apparently, my dad tried to open the boiler room door, but something was holding it shut, or perhaps pulling it shut. Even so long ago, I could sense fear in my dad's voice explaining it. I don't believe in ghosts, but to this day, I still don't know what to make of what was going on in that basement.
I'm honestly about to hang glide towards the city, bro. I think I can make that. Yeah. I spawned on top of Mount Chiliad, so... I'm just trying to make it to the city. But I know that ain't gonna happen.
Every so often when we
So I'm just gonna see how far I can make it down the highway.
well, our Uncle Ron would watch us. Our Uncle Ron has been single his whole life.
I wanna see if I can make it to the... that.
He always happily did it. One Friday night, the same night our parents left town, watching Titanic during a monster snowstorm. Me, my two brothers, my older sister, and our Uncle Ron. I remember certain parts of this night so vividly, but other parts I just draw blanks. I do remember, however, that the power flicked off briefly, and we had to reset the VCR to get back to where we were in the movie. Shortly after that, our Uncle Ron was fast asleep. We let him sleep while we kept watching the movie. It was at the part where Rose was running with the axe back to the room that Jack was trapped in. One of my brothers was coming back from the bathroom, and on his way, he went outside for whatever reason, likely just to look at the snow. He came back inside yelling for us to come take a look at something. Starved for a little excitement, I guess, the three of us ran to the back door. We could see what he was talking about now. There was a set of footprints in the snow. It led from the back door, then to the window, and then back in the direction of the yard and woods. To make the matter even more eerie, he said he heard the back door knob turn. Our sister, even though she was the oldest by 3 years, ran inside freaking out. My brothers and I, on the other hand, were kind of excited by it and wanted to follow the footprints.
Bro, why though?
Our sister was threatening to wake up our Uncle Ron as she saw us putting our coats and boots on. But I convinced her it'd be fine and we weren't going too far.
But you is going that... Wait, why am I getting shot? Oh, the doors are wide open, that's why. Bro, I just wanted to say hi to y'all. Ow, why am I getting shot at? I just pulled up to the Altrulis area, bro. Why am I getting shot at, bro? Don't climb the wall, Grandpa. You ain't gonna live.
Following those footprints for a while, until finally...
Of course I'm gonna win this fight. Y'all have, like, no good guns, bro.
Literally tucked away in the woods.
I'm just gonna take all your ammo. Hi, get your Is that a naked man, bro? Did I really just see a naked man?
But we didn't dare go up to it.
Blood spatters.
Crept over to the closest window.
Oh, I'm gonna kill myself off this cliff, bro.
It was too dark to see anything inside, though. But we noticed it wasn't actually a glass window. It was just a screen. Then there were 2 thumps from inside of the cabin. And then sound of something sliding. We didn't see what caused the sound, though. Suddenly, one of my brothers screamed.
Oh, I found a movie prop. That's what I just found.
To see a head poking out from another window of the cabin. But it was so dark, all we could see was blackness, no features.
Bro, that thing scared me. I got the shakiest controller ever.
Thumping sounds inside the cabin.
I'm booking it down here, bro. Y'all ain't touching me for shit, bro.
We all screamed and ran for our dear lives.
I have barely any money to call Lester, so you know, I ain't gonna be vibing like that, bro. Brody?
Next day, we tried taking our Uncle Ron
Alright,
to
good.
that cabin.
Is my party public? Yeah, it is. Okay, bet.
The creepiest thing to this day, we still live in the same house.
Yeah, he be online. He only joined and then he left.
Came across that cabin again. In fact, we can't even find it on maps or Google Earth. If it weren't for the fact that I was with my two brothers, I would question if this ever even happened.
Can I get a vehicle up here?
My friends, who I'll refer to as S and J, came along with me on a little camping trip near Blue Mountain National Park.
You really can bring them around, but...
Small pond, just because it seemed like the coolest place to chill. The point of this whole trip was to get out, drink a bunch of beers with friends, and chill. I cracked open my second Budweiser, lapping it up with S and J, talking about some of our other friends, with music playing in the background. Overall, just having a good time. Then, however, I saw S reach over for the speaker and turn it down all the way, and then shushed us and pointed out to the pond. S whispered, "Did you guys see that?" Jay and I looked out to the pond. The campfire had a glow that partially reflected on the pond water, but even yet, I couldn't see what he was pointing at.
Bro, I just barely tapped that thing and it made me get off the bike. Hey, yo, where's the green gang? My god, did he leave? Oh shit, I'm gonna get targeted.
I came out, S said don't, but I turned it on anyway and aimed it at the pond. The light didn't reveal anything or anyone, but we did all hear the sound of water being pushed, as if someone or something were walking in it. I turned out the light because I was freaked out and looked at my friends, who were both wearing cringing faces. I told S to shut off the speakers completely now.
Oh damn, I'm gonna die.
Chairs, not really saying much anymore, just listening to the surroundings. We're past, and within that time, nothing happened. More comfortable again, and things back to normal. Usually I put my tent, and Jay went to the sharing, and we all went to sleep. Now that I was alone with my thoughts, however, I started thinking of that thing that, as said, was in the water. He never actually described what it looked like, if it was an animal or a person. My sense of hearing was heightened as I was in a state of alert, and because of that, I heard something from the woods. I sat up, since that always seems to help with concentration. I needed to hear one more sound before I could confirm something wasn't right. There was the sound again, much closer now, and I was able to confirm it was a foot hitting the ground. Whether it was a person's foot or an animal's foot was still unclear, however. I heard another footstep, this time much closer. It was clear someone or something was sneaking around our campsite. There was one final footstep. It was really close to the tent. I started texting S, but I was only able to type out the words, "There's something," before the gut-wrenching, blood-curdling scream pierced through the walls of the tent. I couldn't tell if it was the scream of a man or a woman. It's hard to explain, but it was deep enough where it could be a man, but not so deep to the point that it couldn't be a woman.
Bro, what the hell? Come on. Bro, of course I fly into the fucking vehicles, bro.
The scream lasted about 5 seconds. Then I didn't know if I should get out.
Why am I under the
Stay
bridge?
silent. I texted S, "Dude, we have to run." He responded, "What was that?" I didn't answer right away. Instead, I tried to think of what we could do. Well, pretty soon, S texted me again, saying the coast is clear, run for the car. I grabbed the keys from my bag, opened the zipper to the tent, and sprinted to the car, which luckily was only about 30 seconds away. We stayed in the car all night and went back the next morning for our stuff, which luckily was all still there. Still have no idea who, or even dare I say what that thing was at our campsite that night. Just happy we got out okay.
Bro, I just got yeeted across the highway. No! Bro, why you gotta turn into me though?
I once found myself walking through the woods during a slight drizzle. All I had on me was my backpack with a spare pair of pants, a flashlight, a tripod and camera, and some granola bars. I'm a photographer and video editor. Love recording footage of a forest during rain, a river during rain, and snagging some pictures as well. Long story short, I found myself lost trying to find my car. It was the worst day of my life. I was panicking, stressed, screaming to myself in anger, just wanting to find the car. I'd say an hour after getting lost, I started to pick up on noises around me. I don't mean multiple noises at once. I mean at times I hear the same noise, just on different sides of me.
Hey,
Let's shut up.
The noise was footsteps, undeniably. I was starting to panic that I was being hunted by a bear. That was only at first, though.
No, dumbass, you being hunted by yourself.
I slowed down to quiet my own footsteps so I would more likely hear where the other footsteps were. And when I did, I turned my head as quickly as possible in that direction. I saw half a person's body jumping behind a tree. Instead of calling out something or confronting them, I did what I still think was the smart thing. I walked away fast, playing it off like I didn't see him. It was starting to get darker every minute now, and the rain was still coming down lightly, but my heart was racing faster than ever. I checked my phone every 10 seconds and finally got one bar. I stopped walking, wiped the screen of rainwater, and opened maps first thing to find the nearest road, which was very close. I let out a sigh of relief, only to hear footsteps closing in on me from behind. I turned and spotted the person again. It was a man. And I know that in of itself doesn't sound so disturbing, just really sketchy. But I'm telling you, the sight was horrifying. I could only see the man briefly before he jumped behind the tree once again as if he thought I couldn't see him. But he looked huge. Really tall, average build, maybe a little overweight. Jeans, and from what I could tell, a dark blue jacket with the hood up, half zipped down, exposing a white shirt underneath. He also had on glasses, but that's all I got of his face. He was hiding behind a tree maybe 15 feet away,
Let's go, I ranked up.
and over the sound of millions of raindrops, all I heard was psst, psst. Now I ran. I didn't care anymore. I was borderline about to have a panic attack. I continued running when I found the road. I ran until I thought there was no chance of him catching up to me. Then I continued walking until I finally hitched a ride from a passing car, who took me back to where I was parked. I didn't bother mentioning what happened to the driver. I just told him I got lost is all. He went on his way as I got into my car and drove the half-hour trip back home, all the while reflecting on what just happened and my life.
Bro, my man says one of everything. What the fuck? I gotta put my car back in the garage. And I just broke more of that sign. Lovely. My face got to be dead by now. Can I just thank you?
hello, Moto.
Green to match green gang. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Bro, shut up. Thank
This
you.
happened to
Take
my
that away.
parents back in the late 80s.
I only got one person to come here. Lovely.
My parents decided to go camping in cool California. When they got there, it was kind of late. My mom was sitting down on the lot while my dad was unpacking the truck. While sitting down, she heard walking around the campsite, so she went and quietly told my dad she heard something walking around.
I'm gonna stop
They got
studying.
the hell out of there just in case. They drove miles down the road with their headlights off so they wouldn't be followed. Once they got there, they set up camp and they began to drink their asses off while listening to a boxing match on the radio. Eventually, they settled in for the night. Now, they don't know for sure that this next event is connected to the first, but they believe it is. So they settled in, and my dad was asleep far before my mom. My mom was in the halfway state where you're half awake and half asleep. Suddenly, she heard footsteps outside the tent. She abruptly snapped back to consciousness and listened. She tried waking